Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thanks for being here today. The video today is about secret paths that you can take when you are planning retirement. Now, many people struggle with this word retirement because it doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. It is more than just simply changing the way that you bring in an income or the way that you engage with other people in the workplace. But it's actually got a far greater significance and depth to it as you get into your 60s and 70s and need to start to think, do I want to retire? What does that mean? How will I get there? And that paths that you can take are incredibly varied. I mean, everybody has got a different route that they want to take, and I want to share with you maybe 5 or 6 different routes and pathways that might work for you. Now, for me personally, the path I'm taking is probably to a path of no retirement, and that's because I've found something to do, which is my life. It is my passion to do 60andMe, and so for me, it's very simple. I think I will keep on doing this forever. I don't think I'll ever stop, and then for me, that's fine. That's exactly what is important to me. Now, for you may have been working in a corporate job like I was for 30 years, and you feel it's time for a change. You really do want to do something different. So, in case you're standing there at the precipice of this, imagine you're in a forest, right? And you've got like 7 pathways or 6 pathways going. Which one do you take? And good thing that there's like little crossroads. If you go down one and you decide you want to go to another, you can do that. Like it's not going to be a big deal if you have to change your mind. But redesigning or re-engineering the way that you think about retirement is so important. It's interesting. I was joining a couple of Facebook groups. I just wanted to understand the kind of dynamic of women who were retiring. And there's some retirement groups where people just say, I retired yesterday and now what do I do? I mean, they literally had not thought about what they were going to do in retirement. Or maybe they had, but just didn't, once they were there, it was like, do I go down that path or that path? And, so that's the story that I think we can do in a little bit in advance, give ourselves a chance to explore the different ones that you enjoy. The first, there's a couple that I think have come to my mind, like exploring things that make you feel like you're a child again. Remember when you were a kid, you used to do all those cool things that you just loved doing, and the time completely stopped. I mean, you were like suspended in time doing those things. You could do them for hours and hours and hours. That's the path you can take of going to the thing that brings you pure pleasure. I remember Cindy Joseph, when I interviewed her years and years ago, she, the woman that founded the Boom cosmetics company, we chatted about this, and she was such a believer in the passion principle, not just passion, but pleasure principle. And bless her, I mean, she died several years ago, but she was such an influence on my life. She was the first person I interviewed on 60andMe. Anyway, it was very, very cool. But don't go where your dreams take you. That's the path. It's the dream path. It's the one that takes you where you just don't know where it's going to go. It's how you're going to do it. You just know that you have to go that path. You have to go the path of where you wanted to be as a kid. Now you can, you may have like circled around it when you were getting a little older, and then maybe the kids left home. You have an empty nest. It was like, now I have room to do that or this, but now you've been circling around it. Now you go for it. Dig in and just follow that path and go. The second path you can take is just be open. Be open to serendipity. Just go out there, travel, meet people, join clubs, just do whatever you can that's going to take you into a world of the unpredictable. Just do things that follow your instincts. That looks good. That looks interesting. Gosh, I never thought about that, but I really am looking forward to this, and watch for the signs, as you actually start to move yourself down that path, the path of serendipity. And, listen to your heart, listen to the person inside of you that's telling you this is the rhythm that you want to take. This is the thing you want to do. Don't be like, questioning and judging and thinking, that was a coincidence, but it was meant to, sometimes these things are meant to be. So follow your instincts and listen to your voice. Be, willing to open your heart to ideas. There's a book I'm reading right now. It's a book that was recommended, online somewhere. I can't remember now, but basically it's called The Book of Delights. The Book of Delights by Ross Gay. And what he talks about is just, he wrote this book, one story every day, like maybe 2 pages, very short. And they were observations about his world. And so he would go out into the world and he would notice people and notice what they were doing. And then he would write about it. And so this book of delights is really delightful. It's really lovely. It just goes through all the different things that sometimes don't pay attention to. And it's not like saying, believe in the universe. I'm not a great believer in the secret and all those, things that the universe will bring you. I think we bring our own joy to us. We take the actions and then we get the results. But, it's in our hearts somewhere. Things that we want to do as we get older, the things we want to do in retirement, are there inside us somewhere. We just need to listen to them. I'm struggling with my throat today. I've had a sort of laryngitis, sore throat for several days now, but it's getting a bit better. Anyway, allow the new is the next path to follow down. Do something completely different. One second, I'm going to just have a cough. Excuse me, I'm really sorry, but I had to just clear my throat. Where's my little cup of tea when I need it? Anyway, follow the path of newness. Try something completely different. If you were a doctor, what about being a chef? Or if you were a chef, maybe you want to be a nurse, and you can do some things now into your older, at 60 plus, that you never thought you could. So that's the secret. It's just do something completely new. I mean, for me, in a way, that was the case. I mean, I had been in a corporate job for 40 years. Various jobs, but mostly at Microsoft, but they were all corporate. They were all where I had a boss, where I had a series of objectives and deliverables. And then I decided to go out on my own, and that was new. That was completely different than anything I had done. So I guess I followed the path of newness, and it led me to 60andMe, and that's, the rest is history, right? So don't believe in the universe, but just, know that it's there just if you listen. And maybe it's just all this thing about being what it is to be happy. Another thing is to follow your curiosity. Now that's different than paying attention, and like watching for serendipity. This is where you actually know there's I really always wanted to do interior design. I'm really good at it. I've done like 20 years in my house of doing designs, and people ask me where I get things and how I make cushions and whatever, it goes on. I have a really good friend, actually. Her name is Donna. Donna, if you're here, hi. Donna was a corporate colleague, and she worked at Microsoft in very high-powered positions. She was a manager of people, and then she retired and decided, how am I going to do this and this and this? She was curious about other options. She went swimming one day and loved it. And I guess it's a combination of the new path and then also the curious path. And she just loved it. And now she's a swimming instructor. And she never could swim like 2 feet. Now she's swimming miles. I mean, and she's not, Donna wouldn't mind me telling you this. She's not like a skinny little, waif of a girl. She's actually, she's a woman, and she had a lot of things to overcome. And she did the swimming, helped her on so many levels personally, and it was her job. It's her retirement job, and she loves it. So follow your curiosity, and it will take you somewhere. It will take you somewhere for sure. I actually have a card in our deck of Aging Beautifully cards, which is really all about curiosity and what it is, like how it draws us in. It draws us in like we can't. So what is that? And we just are so enchanted by it, and it just gives us such joy and magic. Some people want to go back to school. Has anyone in the group who's watching this been back to university or take a class, online? There's so much you can do now online, by the way. If you're curious about, like me, I like medieval history. I've just, taken a couple of courses because they're there. We're so fortunate. When I stop to think about it, we're so lucky that we have got access to so much information. So the paths that we can take, whether it's the path of something completely new, the path of just following the serendipity, whether it's the path of, being curious, or the path of just wanting to make money and, wanting to have a very focused, I'm going that direction, then this is what that's what you do. And I think preferably do it before you start to retire or before you're pushed into retirement. I think it's always a good idea to have the options laid out in your mind, like a kind of you've got the map at least. You've got the map with the 6, different pathways, and you kind of know which one you're going to go to. And by the way, this article, it was by, I forgot her, Marcia Smalley. She's a fabulous writer. And if you want to check out the article, it's on 60andMe, but she actually tells about her own experience with retirement and how this is how she came up with this idea of the pathways to success and the pathways to a happy retirement. So if you've got any other ideas, please leave them in the comment section below. And please, if you haven't done this already, could you like this video? Just put a little tick box there, because it helps me to convince YouTube to share it. And that's what the magic of, getting to other women in our world who need some support and some hand holding. And, we're here for them too. So please help us by liking or subscribe to the channel. If you want to join a smaller group, that is like a small group of women getting together, they're doing cruises, they're meeting for coffee, they're doing stuff. That's our Patreon supporters group. And you'd be very welcome to join us there. We do live shows, exclusive videos, and it's another option for you. We've got lots of channels for you. Have a really, really great day, everybody. Hope that you're doing well. Stay safe and strong, and know that you are loved and appreciated. Take good care.